Morning, scholars. I am so excited to see you today and be able to read with you. We're going to start something very special with our read alouds. We're going to start doing something called an author study. Repeat with me, author study. An author study is, what do you think it is? That might be right. Let's find out. An author study is when we get to learn about the author's life and the different books that they wrote or illustrated. Now, I have a very special author that I would like to introduce to you today. Drum roll, please. Her name is Melanie Watt. Melanie Watt is Canadian, which means she is born in the country of Canada. Canada is the country that is above the United States of America. She is also the author and the illustrator to all of her books, which means she writes all of the words and she draws all of the pictures to her books. So she writes the words and she draws the pictures in her books. Last but not least about Melanie is that her first books were written in French, which means her first books were not written in English. We would have not been able to read her first books because they were written in French. But the reason she wrote in French is because the main language in Canada is also French. So she wrote to the people who live in Canada books that they would be able to read. But we weren't able to read them because we don't know French. So she translated them or made them into English so we can enjoy her books too. I'm going to introduce you to some of the characters that Melanie uses in her stories. Her most popular book characters are Scaredy Squirrel and Chester the Cat. Here's a picture of Scaredy Squirrel, Chester the Cat with his bright red marker. This is Scaredy Squirrel. Say hello, Scaredy Squirrel. Hello. And today, scholars, I am going to be reading to you the very first book about Scaredy Squirrel, and it is called Scaredy Squirrel. So stay on and enjoy as I read the story to you. That everyone wash their hands with antibacterial soap before reading this book. Scaredy Squirrel never leaves his nut tree. The unknown. He'd rather stay in his safe and familiar tree than risk venturing out into the unknown. The unknown can be a scary place for a squirrel. A few things Scaredy Squirrel is afraid of. Green Martians, killer bees, tarantulas, poison ivy, germs, sharks. So he's perfectly happy to stay right where he is. Who is our main character in this story? What is the character like? What animal is our main character? Yes, scholars, our main character is named Scaredy Squirrel, and he is a squirrel. Advantages of never leaving the nut tree. Great view. Plenty of nuts. Safe place. No tarantulas. Poison ivy. Green Martians. Killer bees. Germs or sharks. Disadvantages of never leaving the nut tree. Same old view. Same old nuts, same old place. In Scaredy Squirrel's nut tree, every day is the same. Everything is predictable. All is under control. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Scaredy Squirrel's daily schedule. 6:45, wake up. 7 a.m., eat a nut. 7:15, look at view. 12 o'clock noon, eat a nut. 12:30 p.m., look at view. 5 p.m., eat a nut. 5:31 p.m., look at view. 8 p.m., go to sleep. But let's say, just for example, that something unexpected did happen. You can rest assured that this squirrel is prepared. A few items in Scaredy Squirrel's emergency kit. Hard hat. Antibacterial soap. Calamine lotion. Parachute. Bug spray. Mask and rubber gloves. Net. Band-aid. Sardines. What to do in case of an emergency, according to Scaredy Squirrel. Step 1, panic. Step 2, run. Step 3, get kit. Step 4, put on kit. Step 5, consult exit plan. Step 6, exit tree. If there is absolutely, definitely, truly no other option. Exit plan, top secret. I am here. Exit 1, note to self. Watch out for green Martians and killer bees in the sky. Exit 2, note to self. Do not land in river. If unavoidable, use sardines to distract sharks. Exit 3, note to self. Look out for poison ivy and for tarantulas roaming the ground. Exit 4, note to self. Keep in mind that germs are everywhere. Remember, if all else fails, playing dead is always a good option. With his emergency kit in hand, Scaredy Squirrel watches. Day after day, he watches. Until one day, Thursday, 9:37 a.m. Hey, killer bee appears! Scaredy Squirrel jumps in panic, knocking his emergency kit out of the tree. This was not part of the plan. Scaredy Squirrel jumps to catch his kit. He quickly regrets this idea. The parachute is in the kit. But something incredible happens. He starts to glide. Scaredy Squirrel is no ordinary squirrel. He's a flying squirrel. He feels overjoyed, adventurous, carefree, alive, until he lands in a bush. Scaredy Squirrel forgets all about a killer bee, not to mention the tarantulas, poison ivy, green Martians, germs, and sharks. Score 5.7. Woohoo! And plays dead. 30 minutes later, 1 hour later, 2 hours later. Finally, Scaredy Squirrel realizes that nothing horrible is happening in the unknown today, so he returns to his nut tree. All this excitement has inspired Scaredy Squirrel to make drastic changes in his life. Scaredy Squirrel's new and improved daily routine. 6:45 a.m. Wake up. 7 a.m. Eat a nut. 7:15. Look at view. 9:37 a.m. Jump into the unknown. 9:45. Play dead. 11:45. Return home. 12 o'clock noon. Eat a nut. 12:30 p.m. Look at view. 5 o'clock p.m. Eat a nut. 5:31 p.m. Look at view. 8 o'clock p.m. Go to sleep. P.S. As for the emergency kit, Scaredy Squirrel is in no hurry to pick it up just yet. Poison ivy. The end. That is the end of the story Scaredy Squirrel. What was your favorite part? I liked that part too. What was the setting of our story? Was it in a house? Was it at a school? No, it was in a tree in the forest. Good job, scholars. Now, I want you to write a little response from what we just read. So I want you to get out your notebook, and I want you to tell me in your notebook, what's something that you're scared of? In our story, Scaredy Squirrel, Scaredy is scared of everything. I want you to write 1 to 2 sentences telling me, what are you scared of? And you can't say nothing because everyone's scared of at least something. So I would love to see your response as what are you scared of? Have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you here tomorrow as we read a second story by Melanie Watt. Who knows, it might be another Scaredy Squirrel story. It might not. So you'll have to come back tomorrow and find out which story we're going to read. Have a great rest of the day.